Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wired Nerdy Podcast. This is season number 3, episode number 15. My name is Keith. This is Doug. Doug, how's this morning finding you, my friend?
It's early, but I've got coffee. Don't look at my hair, and we're gonna have a good show.
It's a wild hair episode. That's what we're gonna.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
we're gonna
man.
call this bad boy. It's been a while since we've done this because we have been busy as all
Busy.
get out. Yeah, I think it was last weekend. We dropped the audio only, unfortunate
I had
version
a couple
of
technical issues. Yeah.
of our panel interview that we had with Neo Ness and with Mr. Rightway and with Zelda Hat Guy. We had a blast. We're going to talk about that today, give our impressions of the CoMo Retro Con. And, I still feel tired. It's been like 2 weeks since we did that. And I'm still like, I think it was like the longest recovery that I've had from an event for a while. I don't know. It was intense. We did a lot. That weekend.
Those take a lot of energy. The setup in the morning, the prep, and then we did a little bit of hosting.
We did
with
some
the,
extra stuff too
guys,
afterward. Yeah, that's right. But we'll get into all of that. In the meantime, it's been a while. We have a lot to cover. The news this week was relatively light, but we kind of dip into some things that we may have missed while we were away doing the RetroCon that we'll get into. But you want to do some nerd news?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let's cue up the nerd news.
Nerd News.
Yeah, the first thing we're going to talk about, and we make a disclaimer of we are not a political podcast, but we have to talk about these tariffs because they're hurting the end user. You've talked about tariffs. Tariffs are bad, but we're going to push that aside and just say that things are getting a little pricier. So Microsoft is going to raise a lot of the prices, not only on their consoles, but on their hardware and their games as well. So if we scroll down to the list, we see
Oof.
stuff is going up.
Yowzas. We're starting to feel it.
Yeah.
That's really what this is. What's interesting to me is that I've seen people on here, they say, well, this is not about the tariffs. And I think it's twofold. I think the tariffs are, I would dare say, 80% of this because of inventory, where chips are manufactured, all that stuff, right? I think that's 80% of it. 20% of it is influenced by, you saw, Nintendo. When they're launching in June, Nintendo has a higher mark on their console and on their games as well. So I think it's multifaceted to an extent. It is weird to me, whether you set aside tariffs, set aside Nintendo, it is so odd to me that this console has been out for so long. And they're upping the price on it because they're saying sales are even down on hardware 6% in this article. And they do talk about tariffs and all that, but it's weird to me. Like, you would typically, where I will say, at least Nintendo took the opportunity to raise their prices upon the launch or release of something new. This has been out for a while now. And it also kind of weird to me because it goes against what Microsoft has been saying about an Xbox is anything, because you can put Game Pass on anything, and thus you can play Xbox games on, we always joke about, like, on a toaster, right? Yeah. They have it for everything, right? So it is weird to me, but you run down this list, and it was funny that I was talking about selling. I have a Series S, right? This one right here, this Series S 512.
Yeah.
I was talking about selling it. Now, what's funny, it says it was $299. That's the retailer. I think at Walmart, I got mine for $250.
Yeah.
And so now look at it, $380. And I don't know. And I bought mine for Starfield, like exclusively for Starfield, and now it's coming to PlayStation. So, but I also have Starfield on my PC as well because I'm a Bethesda fan. But I don't know, bro. These prices are surprising me. Like, I didn't think it would happen this way. I thought it would go up by like $50, but I mean, look at the Series S 1 terabyte. That's $100. It's about $100 difference, almost, right?
Oh,
like,
almost, yeah.
Yeah, almost. Not quite there. So, what do you think?
The Series X is $100. I think
it is. Yeah.
We saw this coming.
We did.
And we're finally starting to see pieces of it. I think it'll get worse before it gets better. Hopefully it's better. The one thing I am worried about, and I want to hear your opinion on this, is Will physical merchandise still be the same price as digital merchandise? What I'm talking about is if I go to Walmart and I buy an actual CD, if your Xbox, PlayStation even has a CD DVD tray or slot, will those be the same, digital versus physical?
I think they're going to go up. I
Yeah.
think they're going to go up because some articles I read that, and that's for both. Now look at what Nintendo's doing. Remember, they said $80 for digital, $90, and that's for new titles, and those are Nintendo titles. Now I do think you'll still find sales. There's always sales, because there's like 50 billion Maddens, and you're going to find sales, right? That what we call shovelware.
Yeah.
But I, from what I've read, I do think these prices are going to go up. I really do on the games themselves. I mean, the controllers themselves are now the wireless is $70 for the controller.
Yeah.
And remember, like, look, you and I've
Crazy.
talked about, like, the Xbox controller is a great go-to controller for retro game for anything. I love the Xbox controller.
Yeah.
And you could always get it at a relatively decent price, but now it's not the time to be upgrading electronics, in my opinion. That to me, it's a hold off time. And we knew this was coming. But these prices are just one step in. And I bet Sony's going to do the same. I don't think this is unique to Microsoft. I don't think it's unique to Nintendo. I think it's a combination of economics, and it's the state of the world we're in right now, man. So I just recently did an upgrade on my iPad, but that was because it was like a $200 sale due to like I think they had like bonus inventory at Sam's or something, and I messaged you. I'm like, dude, this is like $200 off. I was going to upgrade my iPad, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it, but outside of that, I don't think I'm gonna be making any major purchases. I thought about like maybe I'll do a new TV sometime or this or that, maybe new surround sound. Nope. I'm putting an embargo on myself for upgrading because I see what's coming down the way, and this list that you see here of these prices of what's is a great example of it. And I'll be honest with you, I think I'm gonna sit on my Xbox Series S now. I mean,
Yeah.
now I guess I could sell it, but I don't know.
I mean, it has some flip value now. I mean, you could make
I
a
could.
profit.
I could, because I could definitely sell it for under 380 and I would still make a profit on it. If I sold it for 3,
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's $80 under the current brand new price. And mine, dude, by the way, it's not used. Like I literally played Starfield with it.
Well, and I know you
That is
take
it.
so much good
Oh,
care of
dude.
your electronics. Yeah.
It's a bit obsessive. I baby my electronics. So
To kind of close out this conversation, I got a little hurt this week, and I texted you and Brian
I
about
forgot about this. What is where is that? I'm gonna put that in there.
okay.
It's a Legion.
Go S, but Steam OS mode.
There we go.
So as you're looking that up, I'm looking at a Steam Deck rival, a Legion Go S with Steam OS. We've talked about it a lot. I've talked about I'm shopping for it. What hurts me is it's gone up $200. The higher model has.
The higher model. You want
Yep. So the higher model has a little bit better processor, terabyte hard drive, 32 gigs of RAM. It's going to play everything I need it to play.
Yeah, I'm looking for
But
the new version.
It went up to $829. It was $629, I think, when it started.
Yeah, it's
They
going.
said this is going to be cheaper than our Windows model, but it's $40 cheaper than their Windows model.
Doesn't it launch in May? You've been looking forward to it launching in May, if I remember
And then
correctly.
the price has gone up. The price has gone up, and I thought, wow, it's crazy.
I think I found it.
Yep. Okay.
I think is it the 32? Is this it? The 32 gig?
No, well, it was $829.
It's flexing. It was yesterday. You sent me the link.
Oh man, it went down $100. See,
Now
no,
wait,
Windows.
Windows.
OS.
There it is. You got to be careful.
And this kind of goes against what they said that the Windows model, since it has Windows on it, is going to be higher. So now the Steam OS version is higher because I think they're expecting everybody to rush out and get it.
The reason why is because they have to pay for the Windows licensing, if I remember correctly. Let's just go straight to their main site here. There you go. View the models. And I know this will be like
they don't have the Steam OS yet, but
they don't even have it on their
site. View, yeah.
They don't even have it on their site. Oh, this all the Windows ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on Best Buy, but that's okay. We can wrap it up by saying I'm going to hold off on this. I may actually go back to a Steam Deck. I've had one before.
Dude,
I kind of missed the handheld gaming, and I just don't want to pay $800
for a handheld.
Nah. My goodness!
But dude, if you went with a a Switch 2, you're hovering around the 5 and you add accessories, what was it, 6 to 7 mark, if you go with the Switch 2. So,
Now,
I
if
don't
the
know.
Switch 2 would pick up Steam OS, I'd pick it up in a heartbeat. But I doubt that's going to
Well,
happen.
actually, it would be you'd want the Switch 2 to run at a minimum Steam so that
Yeah.
you can at least get
Yeah.
to your Steam library, but I don't
Well,
think
not
that's going to
OS,
happen.
yes. Yep.
But I don't think that's going to happen. So
I don't think so either.
I don't blame you for waiting. That's the overall lesson on this right now. This sucks.
Yeah.
It's right now. I'm just gonna be honest with you. To game it's gonna suck right now. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's keep on rocking and rolling here.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we got Microsoft.
The next one, you want to grab this? Or
yeah, I'll tackle this one. So the corner market on internet from space has been Starlink. Starlink, to their credit, has really done well. It's been used in the Ukrainian war. It's been used in a lot of stuff. And you get decent speeds in very remote places where you're essentially getting your internet from satellites. And they now have a competitor, and that's going to be Amazon. They're launching their first satellites to rival Starlink. They have the first of 27, and they have more than 3,000 satellites planned for Project Kuiper satellites. They are now operating in low Earth orbit. I think competition is good, man, and I think it's good to have alternative things. So I didn't know Amazon was doing this at all. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
And the speed. Have you seen the speeds on some of these things?
Yeah, they're getting pretty crazy.
It's not bad.
I started on HughesNet. Let's talk about some technology. HughesNet, terrible.
It was bad.
Internet. I think it was worse than dial-up.
Oh, well, so it was
Or
the speed. It was the latency.
Cloudy day, you don't have it.
Yeah, it was the speed latency. That was a big deal because HughesNet used a phone line to upload, and then it used the satellites to download. And I think the satellites for those were at a different orbit as well, where these are very low orbit. There's things that they're doing. Plus, they have compression. So if you look at Starlink, they're looking at speeds anywhere from 25 to 220 megabits per second, which is really good for satellite. You could game on that. You could Netflix on that. So if you're in the mountains, it's really good. So, and I'm pretty sure that Amazon's going to shoot for those same speeds. So, but yeah, the technology has advanced so much beyond HughesNet. HughesNet was, whew. But they were trying to retrofit a television. Those were television-based satellites that they were trying to retrofit and to do that. And it was novel for the time, but it just didn't quite hit the mark. So.
I had to look this up. We hear about satellites going up in space all the time. I went to NASA. I'm going to read it verbatim here. More than 25,000 objects larger than 10 centimeters are known to exist around the planet.
Oh, yeah.
The estimated population of particles between 1 and 10 centimeters is 500,000. And then the number of particles larger than 1 millimeter exceed 100 million. So we call it space junk, I believe. There's so much space junk going around our planet.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought was really cool is we can track about 35,000 objects going around our Earth here, with only 25% being satellites. The rest, they say, is junk, like defunct satellites, rocket parts, and other miscellany that we probably don't want to know about.
The thing that always blew my mind, there's images that you see that either, NASA has dots that show, but then,
there's
some people.
So much stuff.
But what's funny, it blows my mind when you're launching something, because when you launch something and it's going in a direction, it keeps going in that direction because it hits an orbit, right? How do you know where you're going to slip it in so it doesn't hit something else? It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. I wonder if there'll be a future state where somebody invents something that can, a scrubber that can go up there and collect the dead things and push them out to space, or I don't know. It'll be interesting. Went off topic on that one a little bit, but
yeah, that's okay.
All right, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, sure. Let's grab it.
All right.
Now I'm going to disappoint you. I've never played Borderlands.
That's okay.
I open that up to say that Borderlands 4 is going to have individual difficulty settings for co-op players. If you're a little bit better than your buddy, he needs a little higher difficulty. And I think I agree with this big time.
Yeah, that's why I threw this in here. It was less about Borderlands. Borderlands is decent. Don't get me wrong. It's a good game. But it was less about Borderlands and more about the feature that they're putting into it that we haven't seen yet, that I recall in games, where you can have different difficulty levels. This is a really cool thing, and I hope it catches on.
Yeah.
I wonder though, because remember, like when we played Helldivers or things like that, when you're trying to level up your buddies, you oftentimes have to, if you played in advance and you're already a higher level than me, you have to step down a level, but then you help me grind to get up to your level. I'm curious as to how that will work with this if you have differential levels, or I wonder how do the enemies respond. I'm pretty sure like the hit points change, and I think the amount of enemies that they throw at you probably change. It'll be interesting to see how this blends when you have one person that's high level, one person that's low level playing.
Yeah, and kind of reading this, it doesn't really make sense because it says a person could play on hard while still maintain good gameplay if you want to play with other people. Well, if you're playing on hard and they're playing on easy, if you're attacking the same enemy, I guess is what I'm saying. Is that enemy registered as a hard enemy or an
Does it?
easy enemy? If
Yeah, or does it
a
average
level
out?
1 or a level
Yeah,
50 character, that's my question there.
yeah. I don't know how it's going to work. It'll be interesting, but I appreciate them trying something new, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, next one. I'll take this one. It's kind of linked to the episode that we had before. OpenAI is walking back an update to their GPT 4.0 model, which could be, quote, uncomfortable or unsettling and cause distress. And so they had to roll back this update. I think we got caught up in this. We did an episode recently where Doug and I were trying to get the newest model to create a video game for us. And for about 3 weeks, we found that it was lying to us, and it was just telling us what we wanted to hear. It claimed that it could make an executable, and it couldn't. It gave us like graphics that it said it was putting in, and it didn't. And both Doug and I are like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
It was on that 4.0 model. And the Sam Altman, the CEO and founder, one of the founders of OpenAI, said that this model, they noticed it was acting like a sycophant, which by the way is kind of a butt kisser or just telling you what you want to hear, basically full on lying to you in order to hallucinate to give you an answer, because it's so wanting to give you an answer even when it doesn't have one. It would lie and say things that it shouldn't, or it would overextend itself or make promises that it couldn't. That's what we experienced. Well, they pulled that back now. And they said sycophant interactions can be uncomfortable, unsettling, and causing distress. Meaning, if the AI is just agreeing with you or lying to you, which Doug and I experience, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
what is going on? So they pulled it back, and now, and I haven't gone back and tried, but if you ask it questions, apparently the response is now it's supposed to be more honest with you and say, hey, I can't make that for you, but I can do this. So what you think, Doug? This is a real time one for us.
It is. It was interesting to see your attempted creation and conversation with them.
It's creepy.
It's like you described perfectly. Failed promises to my boss, basically, is what the AI was doing to you.
Yeah, it really was. It was really weird. And in the article that The Verge has, it talks about OpenAI designs ChatGPT's default personality to reflect our mission and be useful and respectful. But then it points out that each of these desirable qualities, trying to be helpful and that sort of thing, attempting to be useful and supportive, can have unintended side effects. The company says that a single default personality can't capture every preference for its 500 million weekly GPT users. That's a crazy number. 500 million people weekly. So, they're expanding ways and trying to figure out how to walk this thing back. Because I think people got a little unnerved with it lying to them. And I think this is the kinds of things that we're going to see as AI evolves. Is I don't even think that they knew it was going to do that until they released the model. So we're living in Black Mirror, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Yeah, I think I can take care of this. EA, which I think they're evil anyway, but
We're not
EA
biased
is
here,
evil
Doug.
anyway.
We're not
Oh,
biased. Oh,
okay,
my
sorry.
God. No, you're right.
Okay.
They are the microtransaction killjoys of the
They are
industry.
the
It seems to be.
studio killer, but
They are.
okay,
They really are.
let me start over. So EA is gonna lay off a bunch of staff and cancel a Titanfall game. So I kind of agree with them. I played Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2. Cool concept, great game, but I say great game, but it didn't have the mass appeal that it needed to. So to me, this kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I believe they're probably laying off staff for Titanfall to focus on bigger projects.
Yeah, most likely.
It talks about they're going to start working on Nope. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. They're also laying off people from Apex Legends and a Star Wars Jedi respawn.
That's right. I think it was Respawn Entertainment.
Yeah.
Is the game.
And to me, I went on a little rant there, but yeah, just type up what has EA killed studio wise, and it is
Is
so sad.
yeah. You're right. I mean, the numbers are 100 employees at Respawn were laid off, including developers, QA workers, publisher staff. IGN says that some of the workers were moved from Respawn over to EA's Iron Man game and the Battlefield series. So you're right; they're moving on to other projects. Games are expensive. I mean, they're like movies anymore, and I see why they're consolidating. I mean, you're looking at Electronic Arts reporting eliminating 300 to 400 positions and scrapping the game set in the Titanfall universe. I think the big thing with Titanfall, I think it was a good game. I enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
you're right, it didn't
Yeah.
catch on. I personally think Titanfall 2 was better than 1.
Yeah.
I think it
I
had
agree.
some good game. It just didn't. I think it's what it was competing against at the time. It didn't quite snag the consciousness of like a Halo.
I think it can be similar to when you release a good movie
Yeah.
in the summer, while everybody else releases a good movie in the summer. It kind of released at a bad time when other people were playing other popular games.
Yeah.
But I did like it. One of the things I really enjoyed, and if you haven't played it, you're kind of in this mech warrior esque like suit. But the cool thing is, if you start taking damage, you can
Hop
somehow
in and out.
eject out of your suit,
Yeah.
make it blow up, and you can get some kills with your
Yep.
dead suit. So that
Yeah.
was a really cool aspect.
It was neat to be able to jump onto foot, jump in and out of the mech, be on foot, fight, and then jump in the mech. It was a
Yeah.
great concept. What was that movie? Pacific Rim.
Oh,
but
yeah,
but
absolutely.
the mechs weren't as big. So I want to be
No,
clear.
it was more like exoskeleton.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
that's a good way to put it.
No.
All right. Next up, dude. While we were away, Bethesda did a shadow drop, meaning it wasn't announced, and it was essentially a completely remastered version of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which originally came out in 2006. Full disclaimer, I have been playing the crap out of this game. I loved it back in the day. I played it originally on the 360. I think I mentioned to you, I think it's probably what caused my red ring of death on my 360. It overheated it because it really was pushing that system. But I this is pre-Skyrim, but it did lay the foundation for Skyrim. I have been playing the crap out of this. They redid it into the Unreal Engine 5, and I ended up getting it on my PlayStation. And what's funny is that I haven't been using it a lot until this game, but I dusted off my Portal. And what's funny is like even last night till late, I just didn't want to be in the living room. So I was like on my Portal and I was playing Oblivion on this, and it works so amazingly well. And I am having a blast with the game. So everybody's in love with the game right now. People are rediscovering that never played it in the first place. It is gorgeous and beautiful because of the Unreal Engine 5. They kept the bugs in on purpose because it was notoriously buggy. And there's all kinds of little glitch where you can get like infinite arrows. And there was like one NPC that non-player character, when she's reading the script, she'd even messed up and she's like, oh, let me reread that. They had that and they kept that in.
That's awesome.
So I love it. It's got charm, but it's causing controversy because there are modders, that people who modify games, and they have been working on their own version of a remastered for Oblivion and other games. And they were ticked that this got dropped and it took all of the air out of the room. And that means that their mod that they were going to release isn't going to get as much attention. And I guess all that controversy is that it was like a week after this version came out, one of the modders released a remastered patch 1 week after the game came out. But on Reddit and all these people are saying, you know what, don't support the modder because they're being mean and they're being, facetious about it. And they're saying just play the Bethesda one and support Bethesda instead. And there's been this whole uproar online about, whether you should support it or not. And I don't know. It's a lot of controversy in the gaming community if you're unaware of that. But I will say that there are rumors that this has gone so well for Bethesda, and people are rediscovering this game as remaster, which I'm all for remasters. There's a rumor that they may be doing Fallout 3 next, which I know you would be excited about.
What?
Yep. Yep.
Repeat that.
Fallout 3, buddy. In the Unreal Engine 5, I
Oh,
would
that'd be amazing.
do that game.
I love Fallout, obviously. I got stuff
Mhm.
behind me. Fallout 3 was so great, but I got it at a time after Fallout 4. That's when I discovered it. That the graphics were like, I would love to go back with the updated graphics, updated system menus, and all that. That'd be amazing.
Oh, yeah. The game is just absolutely beautiful. It is,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and you throw in the game, and I love that they kept the bugs in. That's so cool. I think that's a nice chef kiss touch there. So,
Absolutely.
all right, we got one more, and this dropped, I think, yesterday. I'm gonna let you take it.
Yeah, we knew it was coming, but if you have been hiding in the dark,
Under a rock.
under a rock,
There you go.
my sayings don't work in the morning. Anyway, everybody knows GTA 6 is coming. Some of us gullible ones like myself thought, yeah, oh, it's coming this year. Yeah, they're going to get it done. Nope.
Wishful
So
thinking.
Rockstar has delayed it. And I'm going to go on a little rant and say that's just fine with me. Because you look at GTA 5, you look at how successful it is. I think I can look it up here in a minute, but billions of dollars of revenue just from its online portion. So for me, delaying GTA 6 as long as it is a master class of GTA 5, that doesn't bother me at all. Now I know it bothers others, but you got to understand there are so many bugs, so many things to work out, so many different interactions, the NPCs, non-playable characters, stuff like that. I don't have a problem with it. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm kind of with you on this. So I'm not surprised. I think it was wishful thinking
Yeah.
for a lot of people to think that it was going to come out. I don't get me wrong. I wanted it to come out as well, but
Yeah.
so I'm not surprised. Um, so I don't know. I'd rather it would be done and less buggy and more enjoyable for them to take their time
Yeah.
on it. So, I mean, that's
That's my
that's
thought.
that's overall my thought. So I'm good with it. Granted, yeah, I want to play it. Now, an interesting conversation that has come into the place in this is that we've had some really good game releases this year, and a lot of people are saying that this changes the whole um game of the year argument, because a lot of
Yep.
people are saying that
Yeah.
any game that ends up coming out this year, and a lot of people were looking to GTA, they were saying that, well, you know what, it's going to be really hard to compete with GTA. And now, since they made this announcement, a lot of people, I'm going to drag this over here, are saying that the two games that are contending for game of the year for this year is the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2,
Yep.
and it just came out, and I've heard only good things, is Expedition 33. And these games, like, we're talking high ratings right now for both of these games. And they were saying that, well, these are great games, but they can't compete against GTA because GTA has this massive, massive following, right? So to me, I think that it opens up for these games to release and for the awards. I think it's going to be interesting. Now, I've not played. I did get, I think, on the Steam sale, I bought Deliverance, the first one,
Hmm.
but and they said you didn't have to play it, but I want to play it, and I'm going to give this one a shot.
Yeah.
I've just been very, very busy, but I've also heard that Avowed was pretty good, which is almost a Skyrim like one as well. So
Yeah.
that's my take on it. I think it's great news that if it means it's a win-win in the fact that everybody's disappointed, I get it. But if GTA is more stable and if it's more enjoyable, do it. And then also it gives these games that have come out a little bit more breathing room for people to enjoy them and for them to get some well-deserved awards. That's my take.
Yep, I agree completely. There's something about GTA. I'm gonna make a comparison real quick to from GTA to Call of Duty,
Oh,
uh, and this is gonna be strange. So stay with me just a sec. So Call of Duty really, I got rid of their massive campaign mode. They're strictly online. I mean, they've got a little campaign. The same with Battlefield. GTA cannot get rid of its story mode. They cannot. That's where it's just amazing. And the online mode, in my opinion, is just the topper to that beautiful cake that it is, if that makes sense.
It's got a massive fan base. It's just such a huge fan base. And I also think some part of this is Rockstar knows the pressure that they're under.
Oh, yeah.
And can you imagine if this game came out and it sucked? I think
Yeah.
it would hurt.
And that's what I'm saying. You cannot
Dude.
get rid of it. Don't try to be, oh, we're doing something new this year. No. If it ain't broke, don't
Yeah.
fix it. Look at the billions of dollars you made on GTA 5.
And I've read that this game is probably going to be a contender for the most expensive game developed. So
Yes.
think about the amount of money that's online, the fan base. You don't want to get this wrong. If you get this wrong as a studio, especially nowadays, even Rockstar, it would hurt. It would really, really hurt. They need this to be a home run.
Yep.
And if it means pushing it out a bit, I think they're doing what they need to do. And I think it's the right thing. I really do. If they're able to do it financially, which they should be, because shoot, man, people are still buying Red Dead Redemption, for crying out loud.
Oh, yeah.
And still playing it.
But yeah, and that's what I was just going to say. Playing it. Real quick, I looked up $8.5 billion. I had to say that slowly because I still don't
To make
understand
it?
Nope. $8.5 billion is what GTA 5 has earned.
Oh, just 5. Dear God, man.
210 million copies sold, and then all the you buy a car, $40 real money for a car in the online game.
Dude, that is massive numbers. And that's only one of them.
So that's only one game in their franchise. So obviously they're going to try to get some billions and billions for GTA 6 as well.
I wonder what the cost is. There was an estimate I saw on this for them to make this one. Like, look here, the estimated development cost is substantial, with reports and analysts estimating varying, but generally placing it between 1 billion and 2 billion. Now that's to make the game.
Just to make it, yeah.
Woo! Yowzas. So given that, I think I understand why they need it to be a hit. So it makes total sense to me.
Let me try to do this real quick. Yep. So a quick search. I don't know if I'm right. The most expensive movie to make was only $460 million.
Wow.
And that's a 2.5 hour adventure.
Yeah.
Where you're playing these games hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
So that puts it in perspective.
It does. I get it.
Doesn't even touch the movie realm.
So when you're talking about numbers that big, business gets big, and your margin for error becomes slimmer. If they fail at this game, if it's buggy, if it's not well received, if it's not good, dude, that could $2 billion synced into a company. That could really hurt a company. So I get why they're doing it. So I think people need to chill out. It'll be ready when it's ready. Yep. And you'll enjoy it when it gets here. In the meantime, go play one of the other 1 billion games out there that have been released. It's really, really
absolutely
good. So.
And not to hold people up, but the most expensive movie so far is Force Awakens.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
$447 million.
I've heard there's. What surprised me?
Highest budget. Yeah,
I'm surprised Avatar's not on there. They're working on
the list.
They're working on more Avatars too.
Avatar was $350 million.
That's still a lot, but I get you.
And then tons of Avengers stuff.
Of course. Disney's got the deep pockets though.
And then second place. This is off topic, but Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom was second place at $432 million to make. Jeez. But a lot of visual effects.
Yeah, I get it. There's a lot to it. Okay, that does it for the nerd news. Let's jump into our main topic now. We had a very, very long weekend about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to have you do the setup while I'm getting the screen share up and going. Because you were the photographer, and I appreciate you doing that, by the way, buddy, because I was so busy with other things. So all of these images, which you did a great job on, are covered where Doug was, chronologing everything. So What's the setup? What did we do? Who did we have? And then let's kind of go into the whole gist of all of this.
Yeah, so we went to the CoMo RetroCon. I always try to call it a gaming con or Comic Con, whatever. The CoMo RetroCon. But before we did that, starting with the photos, we picked up some awesome guys. We showed them around our local area. That's Neo Ness, Mr. Rightway. We even met Zelda Hat Guy, which I have not had the pleasure of meeting him in person. But here we are looking at Neo Ness opening a shirt that we crafted for him. Amazing shirt. I have to let you explain that.
So it's an inside joke. So the So Excited podcast is what all this crew is tied to, which has Mr. Rightway, Neo Ness, Saturn 9, AO Omega, and Zelda Hat Guy, and a few other rotating guests inside of there. And these are all content creators, and they do a weekly show. And the running joke on this show is that, because if you don't know, Neo Ness, we've had him on the show. Great interview. Go check it out if you haven't. He collects Neo Geo. Neo Geo is a very rare, expensive console to collect for because it just didn't catch on and they were very expensive. And that's what he chose to collect. And he's one of the foremost collectors of Neo Geo. And so the running joke is that he's rich. And so there's always these jokes. And so we got him this shirt in this video here. I'll let play. He's opening up because we thought it would be funny here at the Wired Nerdy Podcast. We like to have fun. And so we got him this Bank of Ness shirt. And it says something to the extent of the best nest starts with Ness. And so he wore this on their recent podcast last week. He's got a great video on it that he's wearing on it. And he's so kind and he plugs us in that video because it wasn't just that, we didn't just go to the con. We hung out with these guys. We spent a Friday night. And those are, I think, the first series of videos here. The first place we hit up, which we've focused on the podcast before, is a place in Columbia called Witches and Wizards. It's a awesome place, great plug for them. And it's like, what was it, Doug? Like, is it $8 for $10 to get in?
I think $10. Really good time. So here you see Zelda Hat Guy with the Zelda hat, obviously.
Yep, and his wife.
And then
great
Neo
people,
Ness.
by the way.
Very nice. Very nice.
They're wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's all you can play. Yeah, goofing off there. Playing some. Oh, I forgot how hard Dragon's Lair is. My God. Although I think in that cabinet was Space Ace. It was really tough. But so we hung out and we got to play video games. This is myself and Ness. He kicked my butt on Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which I've never been a huge fighter guy. He's got skills. I will say that. In one of the videos, if you go out and watch his video that he did on coverage or Mr. Rightway's, it shows them playing. And we heard all this ruckus upstairs. And they had a group of strangers that had gathered around them. And they were playing a game, and I don't know, it's so funny. Anywhere you go, like in this arcade, everybody's gathering, watching them competitively, play. It was, I don't know, it was pretty awesome. So yeah, if you want better footage of that, he has that out there.
Yep, I had to get a picture of my Independence Day pinball machine.
You love that
is
thing.
Awesome, and I love the movie. The one thing I'll talk about as you go through these photos, if you watched our podcast for the coverage of Witches and Wizards, you'll notice it's different. We went there this time, and they have new arcades. They have new machines. They've totally changed it, and it was really awesome to discover some new cabinets, new games, new stuff in there.
It was fresh. It was different from what we've been there before. And this is, by the way, the video footage here of the whole crowd gathered around. And you can see it's Ness and Mr. Rightway. And I think Ness beat up on him. He, like I said, he's got some skills. You can see, like, he just annihilates them. It's awesome. So yeah, man, it's really good to go there. I will say, like, it is tight, and
they've got it crammed, packed full of machines.
There are so many arcades in there. Now, that's not necessarily a knock. It means it's a good thing because that means you got a lot of variety through this. But it was a good time. There they are. There's Zelda Hat Guy and somebody that we had met there. And they're playing, and I don't know. I love the camaraderie of just wherever everybody goes, they're just enjoying games. Now, there was another place that we wanted to go to. It's called the Tokyo Room. And I had not been there. You hadn't been there, right?
I have not been there either. The name doesn't do it justice of what it is. To me, it's like a little like speakeasy bar.
It is.
That's not what it is.
And I'm clicking through the Witches and Wizard ones. We spent quite a bit of time there. And we'll get to the Tokyo Room here in a second.
Yeah, as you're going through the photos, the Aliens Armageddon was new.
Yep.
That's down the row.
That side shooter one next to us is also new.
It's new. Yep.
This one right here. This is new.
I was going to say, if you haven't experienced Witches and Wizards, if you wanted to beat an arcade game, but you kept running out of quarters, this is the place to go, Don't get frustrated. because back in the day, I thought, "Gosh, I'm so good at this game," but it forces you to put quarters in. Here's a Silent Scope.
Oh,
That was
sorry about that.
awesome. No,
Yeah,
you're good.
Silent Scope, that was newer,
Yep, that's a new
and,
one,
yeah,
and then,
the little
Guitar
Guitar
Hero.
Hero, yeah.
But to kind of finish out my comic, go there, pay the time price, beat the game you wanna beat. It was really fun.
Yeah, it's nice because games were meant to, like, obviously get quarters. You need to make money, right? And that made them a little harder to beat at
Oh,
times
yeah,
because,
absolutely.
they want you to keep chucking quarters into it. Now, I think this is where we're getting into the Tokyo room here. So we
I
went
believe so, yeah.
yeah. Oh my
Yes, it
gosh.
is,
So
yeah.
the difference is the Tokyo room has a comedy club inside
Yep.
of it, and it's got a lot more pinballs, but these pinball machines were crispy. They were brand spanking new, and kids
Brand
aren't
spanking
allowed.
new, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing is they don't allow kids in this place because of the comedy club, and it is
Well,
I
you
don't
got a
know,
lot of merchandise in there. I mean, I
dude.
would estimate anywhere half
Oh,
a million to
it
$1 million.
if not more, if not
Yeah,
more.
no.
And but the machines there, because there's less traffic, it's a different vibe. It's a lot quieter. Are just in perfect, pristine. Some of these were
Mhm.
brand new out of the box machine. You can tell they hadn't even been played much.
Yeah.
And so we had a blast there at the Tokyo room. So check out both places. I think was it $8 for each
Yeah, I
place,
think $8 for Tokyo, so $18 total for both things if I got the right price.
and all you can play.
But it was a very different vibe, like you said.
It's
Adults
calm.
only, not a bunch of kids running around. Not that I'm trying to say anything bad against that.
No, no.
And this right here, this is hilarious. There was a deal or no deal game. And I've seen these in Dave and Buster's and stuff. It gives you tickets for collecting the right case. But we studied and we played this quite a bit. And I'll let you talk about what happened.
Dude, it was so much fun because it was Ness started playing again with the joke about him being rich with the deal or no deal. We started crowding around him, and it wasn't just Ness. All like there were even strangers crowding around,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he got down to he won $1 million on one of them, but then he got down to the $2 million one.
He
And,
played the higher mode
yeah,
of the game. Yeah.
and like we were all cheering him on, and I tell you what, I didn't realize how much fun this game would be. Like anytime a briefcase would open, we would all
We were
cheer
cheering
or
and
boo, and it's so
people
funny.
came from around the corner, I think, to see
Oh,
what the heck was going on.
they did.
Here is
Yeah.
the pivotal moment right
Yeah.
here.
And I have to take the blame for it because look, he's down to either 10,000 or 2
This is the
million.
final video, yeah.
And everybody's telling him, I think the banker offers him $1 million.
I believe so, yeah.
And everybody in the room is $1
A
million.
million
They're
five,
saying, take it,
yeah.
take it, take it. And he looks at me. You'll see this moment. He looks at me. And I tell him I was like, it's not real money. Just do it. And right way saying, don't take the deal. I'm like, nope, no deal. And he listens to me, and that was a mistake.
Oh, man.
That was a mistake. See, no deal. He presses
Oh,
it.
and he slaps that thing, yeah.
Oh boy, he was confident,
Yeah.
and that case opens. It was wrong.
Oh, 10 grand. Yeah, bad deal, bad deal.
Oh my god. So anyway, it was a blast there,
Yeah.
and I think we had a really good time. It was a lot of camaraderie. We got to go into. They had a room where the comedy show had let out, and there was even more arcades.
There was,
And
yeah.
and pinballs inside of there, I should say.
And excellent condition.
Yep.
So,
So this was Friday night.
yeah.
And then we also had dinner, which was great. And then we launched into the convention, which
Yeah.
way bigger venue than last year. Sumner, who is the the curator and owner of all of this, he's really growing this. Going into the third and fourth year as we move into this, and so our booth was way bigger than what it's been in the past.
Oh, my gosh. Your brother.
No, he has a lot of stuff. Old timer games. Check him out over at the flea market there. But you see all them consoles behind us. This is right at the very beginning of the setup.
Lucky for us, he had it all set up. But as I
Yeah.
come into the convention hall there, I'm like, oh my gosh, he has so much stuff this year. What shouldn't be something I say because he always has so much stuff. But the consoles behind him there.
Oh, dude, yeah. There's so much stuff. He's got such
Yeah.
a great booth. And then he's also one of those vendors that takes any kind of form of payment. You can see on his
Oh
banner
yeah,
there, which I think
absolutely.
is very, very helpful because I know a lot of vendors just stick to cash, which is fine, but it
Well, and
gives
I think he
people.
gets more sales that way. Not to cut you off there.
Well, no, you're good because people bring a set amount of cash knowing that that's always taken. But it's kind of nice because then they can go to his booth and say, "Oh, well, I'll use my cash elsewhere, and then I can
Yeah.
use my card or my PayPal or my Venmo here." And so this is the crew here, and huge shout out to Matt. I had never formally met him. He has uh, a YouTube channel called Open by Accident, and he's to check him out. He's got great content. He's a nice dude. He
Yeah.
actually helped Brian set all this up and in our absence because we were busy picking up Mr. Right Way and picking up Neo Ness. And we had that late night, so he really stepped it up. And I want to give
Yeah.
a huge shout out. And of course, there's our friend Jeff Arnold. He's a great dude. Sometimes he is a guest on Open by Accident.
Yeah.
It's just really cool to like gather with these different content creators and to be able to visit with them and share the passion. There's your pano of
Yeah.
all of the.
The one thing I noticed on this pano here is that it wasn't just video game resellers, video
Oh
game
yeah.
merchandise. We had a couple artists this time. We
Hmm.
had some like soft goods, I guess you could say, all kinds of different things. So
Crafts.
it
It's yeah.
crafts, yeah. Thank you.
It
So it's really
yeah.
expanding away from just a gaming convention
Oh
to
yeah.
more of a con, to more of a
Yep.
like mini Comic Con without the stuff.
Dude, that's a great point. I love that about this. You see artwork of the background. It's starting to feel like a mini KC Planet Comic Con. Like
Absolutely, yeah.
they had dudes, they had like at least 2 or 3 booths of comic books there,
Yeah.
right, dude? And then you had the artist selling
Yeah.
their stuff. I mean, it it really is starting to turn into something very, very special. This could be big
Yeah, and
as it
that's what I was
continues
going to
here.
say is I'm excited for the future. We had some growing pains this year. Sumner knows about it. If you look at the roof, it's not in the best condition.
Big
We
venue,
had
but
some
it was
water
raining that day.
issues.
Yeah.
Um,
We
But
had
that's
to-
okay. I'm not
yeah.
blaming Sumner or
Oh no.
anything. You got to have some growing pains to get better.
Yeah.
So,
And I think I told the story when we first started this convention, helping Brian out in his booth. We also had started this podcast, and I think I had told Doug, I said, "It'd be cool if someday we could do like a panel," and that's why he grabbed this picture here. It's just very, very, very.
this is a big day for us. Our name is on the board for panels.
Yep. Sumner reached out to us and was like, "Hey, you guys have had." Both of the celebrity guests on your
Yeah.
podcast already. You have a rapport. Would you be willing to host a panel?
Yeah.
And we emphatically said yes. And I'm so glad we did because it was a
It was
blast.
such a great conversation.
Oh, it was a great conversation. You can check it out now. It's audio only. We had some technical difficulties where some cameras had fallen asleep, ran out of storage, batteries, whatever. So we didn't have video footage. We will next time. So it was a learning lesson. But we also were able to use our audio setup for the first time, and it worked great.
Yeah.
And it was a
It worked
learning
amazing.
experience for us. We were in this small little room. It was very quaint. But dude, I tell you what, it was an absolute blast. And I think that's the last of the photos there. So it's so weird to be able to see the evolution of this. I hope that Sumner has us back. I would love to host other panels. I know when I was talking to him, he has a bunch of other ideas of things he wants to walk through. They had the video game museum, the mobile museum there. He talked about expanding that in some way. He's got great ideas. And at some point, we talked about, maybe even having Sumner on the podcast. I actually had a great time this year. We got to make new friends with Zelda Hat Guy, get to hang out with Mr. Right Way, Neo Ness. Man, it was just an amazing, amazing time.
Yeah, it's good. And I love that we are super busy, super swamped.
Oh, yeah. They set up to like, what was it, almost 2,000 people?
Came through the door, yeah.
Yeah. So despite it being a rainy day, despite it being Easter weekend, those are all things going against you. And, I had a great time.
Had a heck of a turnout, yeah.
We did. Now, after this, it was also WrestleMania. And if you don't know, Mr. Rightway is a photographer for the WWE. He's done quite a few events. So he's really, really into it. And so we hosted a watch party at a friend of mine's office, and we, had some food and we stayed up pretty late watching the first day of WrestleMania, and we were exhausted by the end of it. But it was so much fun. I'm hoping next year that even more friends from their podcast join us, like A Omega, anybody else. That would be great. And it was just, I don't know. There are no words. We had such a great time, and I don't know. It was an awesome weekend. Like I said, I'm still tired from it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think this this picture, I don't know if we're close to the last one, but
this is
us,
yeah,
like,
we're through them. Yeah,
we are powering through. It's like
coffee,
it's been a long day.
lots of coffee.
We've made it.
I know Doug and I were just looking at each other at the watch party, and we're like, oh man, I'm exhausted. I don't know.
Yeah.
So all in all, it was a great con. It's growing. We're so proud to be a part of it. Massive thank you to Sumner for allowing us to do the panels. I hope, we're able to do it again. We made great friends. I don't know, man. What am I missing here? I think it was awesome. I can't plug it enough.
Yeah, I think it was great. Like I said, Growing Pains, it's a new venue, got a little issue, but I think if we tighten that up, it's going to be amazing. Uh, just my thought, change it from the Easter weekend. That is a time when
Yeah.
people are stuck to their families all weekend. I think changing that will have such a better turnout. The weather does not stop people. You saw that.
Yeah.
It was nasty. It rained. It was cold. They had food trucks outside, which is cool.
That was a new change.
The weather doesn't top people. I think maybe change it to a different weekend and it'll be amazing.
Yeah, man. I think if they can avoid that, that would be good. But it's just continue growing. Now, if you want to see some awesome content on this, we strongly recommend. We plug them on our Instagram all the time, but check out our friends. Check out Mr. Rightway. He's done a video on it. Check out Neo Ness. Has a great video on it, and you will get dual narratives of what you've heard here today about the experience. And we're just so humbled to be a part of it. But I think that does it for this episode. So we're gonna bring it on home, Doug. Wrap it up, big boy. What am I forgetting here?
We're getting into I'm getting into a slower time coming up.
That's good.
I work in the legislature. We're coming to the end of our session this year. So we're going to have some more time. But what that also means is I'm still working on an interview with a particular person who may also work with me. Hopefully we can bring that to you this summer. We're also working on some interviews with some people we met at the con.
Yep.
So we've got a really good summer for you. Stick with us. Check out our store. Lots of awesome merch on there. Check out our past content. I think you just released a retro game review.
I did.
So check that out. And I want to just thank everybody for watching us.
Good wrap up, man. I couldn't do any better. Yeah. Check out that game review. I think we launched it during Comic-Con just because we like to release content weekly. So, but yeah, man, I think that's it. So everybody, you have an awesome week. We will catch you next week as we head into things. I know I'm starting to get into the busy season. I have a kid graduating soon. So,
hey, congrats.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm like you in that May is a busy, busy month and things will start to calm down.
Past that,
yeah. And we've got some big plans for content that's going to be coming out here soon. So. All right, everybody, have a great week and stay nerdy.
See ya.